Hello beautiful people, welcome back to our channel. Still on the issue of Fulani herdsmen and the threat against the southern part of Nigeria, particularly the Delta State, Niger Delta area. Well, as we speak, the Miyetti has responded saying that they should please ignore the faceless group, and the letter has actually gone very viral. That the letter is from faceless group who are actually being mischievous. Well, as we speak, the Niger Delta group as well, PANDEF, have decided to speak again over the matter, just to reiterate that the southern Nigerian and the southern part of Nigeria and their quietness is not a sign of cowardice. It's just they're seeking for peace. But then, if we push to the wall, then they should expect the unexpected. Before we go to the newspaper to find out what PANDEF is telling Nigerians as a whole and the federal government also, we'd like you to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button. Beside it, you see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update our channel on YouTube. What Chief Edwin Clark, the leader of the Niger Delta Forum, that's PANDEF, and the chairman Southern and Middle Belt Leaders Forum, SMBLF, advises the federal government to warn the so-called Fulani jihadists from provoking the Niger Deltans into taking action that will affect the entire country economically and politically. We have watched with restrained patience the reckless and irresponsible utterances of the so-called Fulani jihadists and the Miyetti who believe that they own Nigeria from the north to the sea and therefore have the impunity to warn the state government, particularly the Delta state government and the governor, to withdraw within 72 hours his decision against open grazing recently taken by the 17 governors of the south in a meeting held in Asaba, Delta State. We have decided to issue this advice and warning to the federal government and the Fulani jihadists that the people of Niger Delta will resist in such a way that will make it definitely impossible for the federal government security forces to cope with should this action escalate. We are reacting because this is not the first time Fulanis and their collaborators have insulted our people. It should be remembered that sometime in 2009, a legislature from Kebbi State in the National Assembly asked the federal government to resettle the people of Niger Delta in another territory to create a conducive and unhindered atmosphere for the oil companies to operate. Can you imagine? In 2009, no? That we won. The resulting consequences will be very unpleasant to them. The federal government has continuously condoned them and behaving as if the federal government is the one giving support to these Fulani jihadists and the Miyetti, because what is happening today in Nigeria, which has resulted in unprecedented insecurity and bad governance in Nigeria, will be worse if they are not called to order by the federal government within the shortest possible time. In 2014, during the national conference, some northerners made a very offending and provocative statement that the entire country belongs to them. This statement was made by a highly educated person, that's Dr. Usman Bugaji. This made the delegates of the Niger Delta issue a statement about 17 pages that they will break away or that they will seek for self-determination if the arrogance and meanness of these Fulanis continue. As the leader of the South-South delegate to the conference and in the interest of peace and continuance of the conference, I immediately rose up to the occasion. I publicly disowned the document on the floor of the conference. I remember His Royal Majesty Lamido of Adamawa commended me for that statement when he was introduced to me by a former Minister of Defense in Jonathan's government, that's Dr. Bello Alero. The Lamido Adamawa told me that I had saved the country. For some Fulani jihadists to issue such insulting and provocative 72 hours notice to the governor of Delta State without the federal government and the elders of northern extraction ever calling them to order is most disappointing, considering that the same northern elders were quick to accuse Igbo leaders of not publicly condemning IPOB. Such impudence of the Fulani jihadists will no longer be tolerated. They even claimed responsibility for the burning and bombing of the secretariat in Asaba, which also houses the National Youth Service Corps office, that's NYSC. I reproduce here under the provocative notice posted. Okay, he said this is it. He said an open message of 2 paragraphs to Delta State, written on the 13th of June 2021. This is to inform Delta State that the Fulanis of Usman Danfodio leadership shall do everything it can to uphold the legacy of our heritage of open grazing, for we are nomadic people from origination and shall never negotiate the ownership of Nigeria and West Africa and Sub-Sahara. We hereby demand the governor of Delta State to immediately withdraw his early stand for the call to ban open grazing in the 17 regions in not less than 72 hours from the above date, and also withdraw his position as the leading voice for the governors, as no occurrence. We don't have the first-hand information even before the hosting of the South-South, South-East and South-South governors meeting in Asaba, Southwest. Failure to adhere to this demand for being the host of the 17 governors, Delta State, most likely the city of Asaba and Agbo, shall encounter several consequences than that of Borno, Kebbi, Katsina, Kaduna, Enugu, Benue, Oyo, and many more that will not respect the Fulani's heritage, as we take responsibility for the detonation of the explosive uncovered in the state capital secretariat, which should have served as warning to Delta State government for what is to come should the government fail to abide by our demand. We highly advise all Fulanis and Northerners, including security personnel, to leave Delta State as soon as possible, for the wind of action is now present in the land. For failure of the governor to adhere to our call, this shall leave us with no choice. Now, it said Deltans be told, be informed, be prepared. The decision on open grazing and other decisions taken on national interest by the 17 southern governors received the full support of the people of southern Nigeria, particularly the leadership of Haneze and Igbo of the southeast, PANDEFF of the south-south, and the Afenifere of the southwest. We will no longer tolerate hate and divisive statement targeted at degrading and insulting others from these Fulanis who believe Nigeria is exclusively theirs and other Nigerians are their subjects and not their fellow citizens. In order to maintain peace and promote peaceful Nigeria, I was among the 50 prominent Nigerians, including former heads of state, traditional rulers, former chief justice, that met for 9 hours under the leadership of former President Olusegun Obasanjo recently on Thursday, the 11th of June 2021, at the conference hall of the Transcorp Hilton Hotel, Abuja, where valuable decisions were taken to maintain and sustain the unity of this country. I repeat, on behalf of Southerners, that open grazing has been finally buried. Correct in southern Nigeria, for Mr. President to insist that open grazing should continue, whereby he asked the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami to dig out the gazettes that approve open grazing in the First Republic, is unbelievable, unpatriotic, and unacceptable to our people. Mr. President should regard himself as president of one Nigeria and not as president of the Fulanis or the Northerners. We shall resist at all costs any attempt to subjugate us as citizens of one Nigeria. I also use the opportunity to seriously advise the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami over his irresponsible and unprofessional language, which is misleading and misdirecting Mr. President, because the rhetoric question Mr. President asked during his interview with Arise Television whether Nigerians want him, Mr. President, to contradict the Attorney General of the Federation was based on his understanding of the AG's advice to him. The AG's position is provided for in the Constitution, and he is expected to be independent of parochial and unconstitutional government decisions. He behaves as if his position is that of a Minister of Justice alone. This was the reason why at the 2014 National Conference, it was recommended that the post of the Attorney General, recognized by the Constitution, should be separated from that of the Minister of Justice, who owes his allegiance to the government in power that appointed him. Perhaps Mr. President is not aware, or he has not been advised by the AG, that the Land Use Act, which vested ownership of land on state governors, is enshrined in the Constitution of the country. Therefore, any gazette or law passed by any state or national assembly is and will be null and void, because the 1999 Constitution supersedes all such laws or gazette notices. The president has no power or authority to impose open grazing on state government. Such illegal action, which are breach of 1999 Constitution, will not be accepted and will be legally resisted at all costs. Therefore, any land banning open grazing by state government is not only legal and binding, but is unchallengeable and binding on any person or group of persons, including the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. There is no federal system where the federating units are not controlled by the governors, who is the chief security officer of his federating. What we are practicing today is not federation. Rather, what we are practicing is unitary form of government, which makes our president the most powerful president of any federal system, and that is why the people want a new constitution. Finally, may I once again appeal to Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari to call for a national dialogue over insecurity and general violence with Nigerians of various ethnic nationalities. The various calls by groups for secession and breakup of the country is not healthy. He needs to have a peaceful government until he leaves office in 2023. We must build up a united Nigeria where all citizens are equal and have equal opportunity to aspire to any position in their God-given land without being subjugated or reduced to becoming subject without rights in their own country. We must therefore repeat, restructure and return to federal system of governance as it was in 1963 before the military took over. Enough is enough. Whoa, this is a big write-up, and this is coming from PANDEF.